Here at the SoCon, social conservative policy leaders are focused on how to increase our impact in government and culture. And that applies not only to the national level, but more so even to the state level. So what are some of the notable movements and developments that we're seeing in states across the nation? And what do they tell us about the direction of the country? Joining me now to highlight some of these, Jason Rapert, founder and president of the National Association of Christian Lawmakers. He's retired from the Senate in the state of Arkansas, and he joins me here in Indianapolis. Jason, welcome back to Washington Watch.
It's good to be here. It's good to be in Indianapolis with all these conservatives.
It sure is. It absolutely is. Yesterday on the program, I had Troy Miller of the National Religious Broadcasters, who we were all together in Israel just a couple of months ago. He gave a quick update on their lawsuit regarding the Johnson Amendment that frees the pastors to be able to speak to issues across the country. Let's talk about some of what you're seeing in states across the nation. In terms of what states are doing, because I think really the states are the laboratory of policy experimentation.
Right. Well, thank you for asking, and I appreciate Troy Miller and his leadership in that suit, which is really going to set things back in order, in my opinion, and free up our pulpits. And I just want to say on that no pastor has an excuse not to address the issues, and this is really going to set the tone for that. But as you know, and thanks to you, by the way, for serving on our National Advisory Board, you were one of the first, I think it was this program actually, or your radio program that we spoke on in 2018. But the National Association of Christian Lawmakers is made up of local, state, and federal elected officials. And our leadership around the country in the 50 states, primarily right now, the largest contingent are the state senators, state representatives, because they were really the foundational start. And one of the primary unique functions of NACL are the standing committee functions. It's important for folks that are in the policy arena to know. So they have 8 standing committees. They have a family committee. They have a state and federal relations committee. They have a life committee. They're focused on different areas of policy, and they debate and discuss all of the major issues that are in the country from a biblical worldview openly, and promulgate policies. And that sets up, to tell you a little bit about the states, they've done 51 models dealing with life at conception, dealing with the App Store Accountability Act that we've heard our friends at Digital Childhood Alliance talk about. They even passed, as we were in Israel last month in June, they passed the Judea Samaria Model Act based on a bill that Representative McAlinden, one of our members, passed in Arkansas, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed. They're working on any number of these different issues. And we could go into a ton of these, as we said earlier, but a couple of the real ones that I want to point out is that in every single state in the country, we're dealing with the protection of children and minors. And I want to add my voice here at this conference. The Digital Childhood Alliance talked about 4 or 5 states that have passed some form of the App Store Accountability Act. And so they had asked us on our website at christianlawmakers.com, there is one particular page dedicated just to the App Store Accountability Act. And what that says is that teenagers can't just go download an app where something bad might happen without a parent being involved in that. And I remember for our conservative friends, I had one of them tell me in the state of Alabama, and they discussed that case here today. In the state of Alabama, this gentleman come up and said, "Hey, Jason, we're here, championing freedom." I said, "We're protecting kids first." And that's something that we need to balance in government.
Well, liberty is different than freedom.
That's right.
And we have ordered liberty, and that's
right.
what we protect under our Constitution, not the freedom to do everything that would be destructive to our society. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, the Supreme Court recently had a case that upholds the ability of the states to do this in terms of protecting children from this content. The exciting thing about the Christian lawmakers is that there's no other group like it, okay? And this is one of the reasons I was encouraged that you started it, is that there's ALEC, that is a legislative gathering. historically more conservative, then you have a more liberal, kind of Democratic-oriented one. This is focused from a biblical perspective, and so you get these Christian lawmakers together from across the country sharing policy ideas, and then it's like being in a big huddle break, and they go back to their states, and they begin to initiate these policy ideas like the Ten Commandments, like the chaplains in the school program. I mean, these are exciting things that are making a difference and being enacted into law.
Well, anecdotally on that issue, Rocky Malloy, heads the National School Chaplains Association, and to let people know how that works, he came to me and they'd passed a bill in Texas. That was the first state to ever pass that school chaplains bill. And he said, how can we help get this word out? I said, put it into the model process, see if we can get it endorsed as a national model. They did that, and they came, introduced that model at NACL. Senator Dennis Baxley took the idea back to Florida. Guess what? They passed a bill there. Senator Mark Abraham in your home state, in Louisiana, our chair there, he passed it in Louisiana. At that point, they had handled a few things they wanted to straighten up in the bill. They came back to the table, and that became their model. Rocky Malloy just told me 4 weeks ago in D.C., Jason, he said 29 different states have actually filed some version of that model bill. Same thing with Kevin Freeman, our friend, on the gold and silver transactional currency. They couldn't pass a bill. He came to NACL. They dug in on it. You had got people talking and thinking about it. They passed that model act. Representative Mark DeRazio has now passed it in Texas. It's passed in Florida. It's passed in Louisiana, Arkansas, and the state of Missouri. And so the faith-based community now has a tool that we had not had, which was that type of policy-making entity. So I'm very proud of all of those lawmakers that have helped bring that to fruition.
All right, so give out the website again. So we have lawmakers that listen across the country, but we also have people who might want to ask their legislator, hey, are you a part?
Absolutely.
So give out the contact information.
So you can reach us at christianlawmakers.com. That's the easiest place for people to go. They literally can become a member right there.
And you also take outside, not just lawmakers, but others that are concerned about policy and want to be involved and support the work.
Two major things. The armor bearer supporting members, that's the people who say, hey, I'm not in office, but I want to support what you're doing. But you know what else we created? We created a track for the former elected official, because some of them term out very quickly in their states, and it keeps them engaged. They got a ton of wealth of inspiration and knowledge and experience, and they come and participate. In fact, I want to say, we've got members in all 50 states, but I'm very proud. State Senator Tanya Storer of Nebraska just became our 40th actual state chair.
She was here.
She was here.
SoCon.
She walked up and she said, I want to join. And we're very proud that, just like Senator Storer, we want you to be engaged. And what's awesome about it as well is that when any of our members face that gauntlet, when they get attacked nationally, as you know happens, we got a ton of people and resources that we immediately bring to their aid so they have a voice. You are one of those voices that allows them to come on to speak truth back into a situation when they're getting truly attacked sometimes by the leftist media.
All right, one final thing for you, Jason, before I let you go. You have 40 state chairs. That means you have 10 states that are not yet covered. I'm going to put a challenge out here. Give me 3 of those states and see if we can't get you some contacts there.
And absolutely, Delaware is one of those states.
All right.
Hawaii is one of those states. And
I volunteer to go over and find you one there in Hawaii.
Yeah, and Connecticut. And what's interesting is that we actually have elected official members, but in some of those states, they get attacked so much. And so I'm praying, just pray that they'll step up to take that leadership.
We'll see. We might have a lead in Delaware.
That'd be great.
So, but folks, you heard it. Give those states again. Hawaii,
Delaware, Connecticut, and I will throw out also New York.
New York
is there as well. We have 10. So
we got to pray hard for New York. But we'll throw it out there. If you're listening and you are a legislator or you have a relationship with a Christian legislator, reach out to Jason and see if we can't get that established in your state as well. Jason Rapert, I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your leadership. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you, and we're praying for you, Tony.